Let's learn everything about the Saka-Scythians step by step in the simplest way possible. I will explain every detail as if you are completely new to this topic, like the best teacher ever. Act 1. Who were the Sakas? The Sakas were a group of people from Central Asia. They were also known as Scythians in history. They were skilled fighters and horse riders who moved from one place to another, nomads. 2. How did the Sakas come to India? The Sakas originally lived near a place called Bactria, modern-day Afghanistan. A stronger tribe called the Yuezhi attacked them and forced them to leave. The Sakas had to find a new place to live. They entered India through the Bolan Pass, a mountain route in present-day Pakistan. Act 3. Where did the Sakas first settle? After crossing the Bolan Pass, the Sakas settled in the lower Indus region, modern-day Sindh, Pakistan. This area was close to the river Indus, which provided them water and fertile land. 4. What did the Sakas do in India? When the Sakas arrived, they fought with the Greeks who were ruling some parts of northwest India and Central Asia, called Indo-Greeks. The Sakas defeated the Indo-Greeks and took over their territories. Example to imagine. Imagine the Indo-Greeks as rulers of a big garden. The Sakas, after being kicked out of their own garden, came to the Indo-Greeks' garden and took control. Act 5. Where did the Sakas rule in India? The Sakas ruled different parts of India. They divided into 4 branches, each controlling a different area. Branch 1, Afghanistan. One group stayed close to Afghanistan, near the borders where they originally came from. Branch 2, Punjab, northwest India. Another group ruled in Punjab, modern-day India and Pakistan. Their capital city was Taxila, a famous centre for learning and culture. Branch 3, Mathura, North India. A third group ruled in Mathura, a holy city in Uttar Pradesh, India. Branch 4, Western and Central India. The fourth group ruled in Western India, like Gujarat, and Central India, like Madhya Pradesh. They continued to rule these areas until about the 4th century CE. 6. Why are the Sakas important? The Sakas changed the political map of India. They ended Greek rule in many areas. They brought their own culture and way of governance to India. Example to imagine. Imagine a neighborhood where one group of people was in charge, the Greeks. The Sakas arrived, took over, and introduced their own way of living. 7. How did the Sakas rule? The Sakas were powerful because they were skilled horsemen and warriors, good at using bows and arrows, even while riding horses. They ruled like other kings, but also mixed with Indian traditions over time. 8. Did the Sakas adopt Indian culture? Yes, the Sakas adopted many aspects of Indian culture. They started following Indian religions like Hinduism and Buddhism. They used Indian languages for administration. 9. How long did the Sakas rule? The Sakas ruled in different parts of India for a few centuries. Eventually, new rulers like the Guptas defeated them and took over their territories. 10. Key points to remember. 1. The Sakas were originally from Central Asia. 2. They entered India through the Bolan Pass after being pushed out by the Yuezhi. 3. They settled in the Indus region and later spread to Punjab, Mathura and Western India. 4. The Sakas defeated the Indo-Greeks and became powerful rulers. 5. They adopted many parts of Indian culture over time. 6. Their rule lasted until the 4th century CE, after which other rulers like the Guptas replaced them. Simple timeline. 1. Sakas live near Bactria. 2. They are attacked by the Yuezhi and forced to leave. 3. They enter India through the Bolan Pass. 4. Sakas settle in the Indus region. 5. They defeat the Indo-Greeks and take control of northwest India. 6. The Sakas divide into 4 branches, ruling different parts of India. 7. New rulers like the Guptas take over their territories. Fun facts about the Sakas. 1. The Sakas were amazing archers and could shoot arrows while riding horses at full speed. 2. Their capital, Taxila, was one of the most famous cities in the ancient world and a great center for learning. 3. They were nomads, but became strong rulers when they settled in India. 4. The word Scythian is often used to describe people who were expert horse riders in history. Let me know if you want to explore any part in more detail. Let's learn everything about the Saka kings and their titles step by step. I will explain this in the simplest way, so even a young child can understand it perfectly. 1. Who were the Saka kings? The Saka kings were rulers from the Saka or Scythian tribe. They ruled different parts of India after defeating other rulers like the Indo-Greeks. The Saka kings became powerful and ruled for many years. 2. What did the Saka kings call themselves? The Saka kings gave themselves special titles to show their power. They used titles like 1. Kshatrap. This means governor or protector. 2. Maharaj. This means great king. 3. Raja the Raja. This means king of kings. Example to imagine. Imagine you are the ruler of a small village and you call yourself a king Raja. But if you rule over many kings, you might call yourself the king of kings, Rajadiraj, to show you are more powerful than others. Where did the Saka kings get these titles? The Saka kings borrowed some of these titles from the Greeks, who ruled parts of India before them. For example, the Greeks also used grand titles to show their greatness, and the Sakas liked this idea. Summer 4. What is a kshatrap? Kshatrap was a title that meant governor or protector. It was first used in Persian-Iranian history and then adopted by the Sakas. In India, the Saka rulers used it to show that they were guardians of the land and the people. Example to imagine. Think of a kshatrap like the head of a big region who is responsible for protecting it, like a modern-day chief minister in a state. 5. Who was Rajul, the first kshatrap king of Mathura? The first Saka kshatrap ruler of Mathura was a king named Rajul. Rajul was a very important Saka king. His name is found in an old inscription in Mathura. What is Mathura? Mathura is an ancient city in North India, modern-day Uttar Pradesh. It was an important cultural and religious centre during the time of the Sakas. 6. Where do we learn about Rajul? The name of King Rajul is found in an ancient inscription written in the Brahmi script. This inscription is found in a place called Maurya, which is near Mathura. Number 7. What is an inscription? An inscription is a message or writing carved on stone, metal, or other materials in ancient times. It was used by kings to record their achievements or important events. What is Brahmi script? Brahmi script was the writing system used in ancient India. It looks very different from modern writing, but was very advanced for its time. 8. Why are these titles and inscriptions important? Titles like Maharaj and Rajadiraja show us how the Sakas wanted to present themselves as great rulers. Inscriptions help historians learn about 1. Who ruled during that time? 2. Where did they rule? 3. What titles and powers did they claim? 9. Key points to remember. 1. Saka kings used powerful titles like Maharajas, Rajadiraj, and Kshatrap. 2. They borrowed some of these titles from earlier rulers like the Greeks. 3. The first Kshatrap king of Mathura was Rajul. 4. Rajul's name is found in an ancient inscription written in the Brahmi script at Maurya, Mathura. Simple timeline of events. 1. Sakas come to India and defeat the Indo-Greeks. Number 2. The Saka kings start ruling different parts of India. 3. They call themselves Kshatraps, Maharajas, and Rajadirajas. 4. Rajul, the first Saka Kshatrap of Mathura, becomes king. His name is recorded in an inscription found at Maurya. Fun facts about the Sakas. 1. The title Rajadiraja is like saying, I am the boss of all the bosses. 2. Inscriptions were like ancient social media. They recorded what kings wanted people to know about them. 3. The Brahmi script was one of the oldest writing systems in India, and it later influenced many Indian languages. Let me know if you have more questions or want to learn something else. Let's go into more detail about the Shakas, Vikramaditya, and the Vikram Samvat. I will keep it simple, step by step, so that it is easy to understand. 1. Who are the Shakas? The Shakas, also called Scythians, were people from Central Asia. They moved into India through mountain passes like the Bolan Pass. They took over parts of northwest India where they started ruling. Example to imagine. Think of the Shakas like a group of people who left their home because of another group pushing them out, the Yuezhi. They came to India looking for new places to live and rule. 2. Who defeated the Shakas? Around 57 to 58 BC, a king from Ujjain defeated the Shakas. This king became very famous and gave himself the title Vikramaditya. Vikram means bravery or valor. Aditya means the sun, symbol of power and greatness. To imagine. Imagine someone defeating a powerful invading team and becoming a local hero. He takes the name Vikramaditya to show he is the strongest and brightest leader, like the sun shining over everyone. 3. Why did Vikramaditya become famous? Defeating the Shakas was a big deal because they were strong rulers who had taken control of parts of India. By defeating them, Vikramaditya brought peace and stability to his region. 4. What is the Vikram Samvat? To celebrate this victory over the Shakas, Vikramaditya started a new calendar in 57 BCE. This calendar is called Vikram Samvat, meaning era of Vikram. How does a calendar work? Just like we count years today as 2024 CE, in the Vikram Samvat calendar, the first year started in 57 BCE. This means Vikram Samvat is 57 years ahead of the calendar we use today. 5. What happened after this victory? The name Vikramaditya became very popular. Many kings in Indian history wanted to be like the first Vikramaditya. Over time, 14 other kings took the same title to show they were powerful and great. Example to imagine. Imagine a title like the champion. If one person becomes famous as the champion, others who want to be remembered as strong and successful also call themselves the champion. 6. Why is the Vikram Samvat still important? The Vikram Samvat calendar is still used in parts of India today. It is especially used for Hindu festivals like Diwali, Holi, and more. It is 57 years ahead of the calendar we use. For example, if today is 2024 CE in Vikram Samvat, it is 2081 VS. 7. Why is this story remembered? The story of Vikramaditya shows how one ruler brought glory and unity to his kingdom by defeating foreign invaders. It also shows how important the Shaka invasion was in shaping India's history. The calendar he started is still part of Indian culture, making his legacy last for thousands of years. Fun fact, there are many legends about Vikramaditya, like the famous stories of Vikram and Betul, King Vikramaditya and the Ghost. While these stories mix history with myth, they show how deeply Vikramaditya's name is respected in Indian culture. Recap in simple points. 1. The Shakas were invaders from Central Asia. 2. A king from Ujjain defeated them in 57 BCE and took the name Vikramaditya. 3. He started the Vikram Samvat calendar to celebrate this victory. 4. The title Vikramaditya became very popular and many other kings used it later. 5. The Vikram Samvat calendar is still used in India today, especially for festivals. Let me know if you want examples or any specific part explained further. Explaining the satrap system in detail and the simplest way. 1. What happened after Rudradaman's death? Rudradaman was a famous Saka king, but after he died, the Sakas in western India continued to rule. They used a special system of government called the satrap system, which they learned from ancient Iranian Achaemenid and Greek Seleucid empires. 2. What was the satrap system? The satrap system was a way to manage a big kingdom by dividing it into smaller regions. 1. Each region was like a smaller kingdom, and it had a governor who managed it. 2. These governors had specific powers, like making rules, issuing inscriptions, and even making coins. 3. What were the types of governors? 1. Mahasatrap, great governor. Mahasatrap means great satrap. These were governors who controlled large provinces. Example, imagine a principal who oversees an entire school. 2. Satrapa, governor. Satrapa means a lower-ranking governor. They controlled smaller areas within the province. Example, a class teacher who manages a single classroom under the principal's supervision. 4. How did the satrap system work? 1. Division of power. The king at the top controlled the entire empire. The Mahasatraps managed big areas for the king. The satrapas managed smaller parts under the Mahasatraps. 2. Governors had independence. Governors, both Mahasatraps and satrapas, could issue inscriptions, official writings on stone or metal to declare rules or achievements, mint their own coins, create money with their name or symbol. This showed that governors were not always fully controlled by the king. They had some freedom to manage their regions as they wanted. 5. Why was this system important? 1. Efficient management. A big empire is hard to manage alone. Dividing it into regions with governors made it easier to rule. 2. Decentralization. Power was not concentrated in one place, the king. Instead, it was shared with governors, which made the system more flexible. 3. Cultural influence. The Sakas borrowed this system from the Iranians and Greeks, showing how they adapted successful ideas from other places. 6. Example to understand the satrap system. Imagine your school as a big empire. 1. The principal is like the king who oversees the entire school. 2. The heads of sections, junior and senior sections, are like Mahasatraps. They manage large areas, many classes. 3. The class teachers are like satrapas. They manage smaller areas, individual classes. Each head and teacher has some freedom to make their own decisions, like planning activities or giving instructions, but they still work under the principal's overall authority. 7. Unique features of the satrap system. 1. Inscriptions. Governors made official announcements in the form of writings on stones or metals. These inscriptions recorded important information like achievements, donations, or rules. 2. Coins. Governors made their own coins. This was a sign of their independence because their name or symbols appeared on the coins instead of the king's. 3. Borrowed ideas. The Sakas didn't invent this system. They adopted it from the Achaemenids and Seleucids, Greeks, who had used this system successfully in their own empires. 8. Key takeaways. 1. After Rudradaman's death, the Sakas continued ruling using the satrap system. 2. The empire was divided into regions, each managed by governors. Mahasatraps ruled large provinces. Satrapas ruled smaller areas. 3. Governors had some independence, like making inscriptions and coins. 4. This system made ruling a large empire easier and more organized. 5. It showed the Sakas' ability to borrow and use ideas from other cultures, Iranian and Greek. Let me know if you'd like even more examples or details. Explaining the Parthians in India in the simplest way. 1. Who were the Parthians? The Parthians were people from Iran, modern-day Iran. They came to India after the Sakas had already established themselves in the northwestern parts of India. Call 2. When did they rule? The Parthians ruled in the 1st century CE, around 2,000 years ago. They ruled at the same time as the Sakas, but controlled smaller areas. 3. What were they called in Indian texts? Ancient Indian Sanskrit texts called them Shaka Pallavas. Shaka refers to the Sakas. Pallavas refers to the Parthians. This shows that the two groups were connected or seen as similar by Indian writers. 4. Where did they rule? Their rule was mostly in northwestern India, which includes areas like Kabul, now in Afghanistan, and Punjab. 5. Who was the most important Parthian king? Gondophares. He was the most famous Parthian king. His kingdom stretched from Kabul to Punjab. Why is he important? It is believed that St. Thomas, a follower of Jesus Christ, came to India during Gondophares' reign. St. Thomas spread Christianity in India. Abdagases became the king after Gondophares. He was the successor, next ruler of Gondophares. 6. How did their rule end? 1. Coins found in Taxila. At the site of Sakap in Taxila, archaeologists found many small coins that belonged to the Parthians. These coins help us understand their history and mark the end of their rule. 2. Assimilation into Indian society. Over time, the Parthians stopped ruling as kings. They blended into Indian society, adopted Indian culture, and became part of the local population. Now 7. Key points to remember about the Parthians. 1. Iranian origin. They originally came from Iran. 2. Small rule in India. They ruled in northwestern India after the Sakas but controlled a smaller area. 3. Connection to Christianity. St. Thomas, one of Jesus' disciples, came to India during the reign of Gondophares to spread Christianity. 4. Assimilation. Unlike some invaders, they became a part of Indian culture over time. Example to understand assimilation. Imagine a family moving to a new country. 1. At first, they keep their old traditions and lifestyle. 2. Over time, they start celebrating local festivals, eating local food and speaking the local language. 3. Eventually, they become part of the new country's culture while still remembering their roots. This is similar to how the Parthians blended into Indian society. 8. Why are the Parthians important? They show how different cultures mixed in ancient India. Their connection with St. Thomas makes them significant in the history of Christianity in India. They left behind coins and inscriptions which help historians learn about their time. Let me know if you want more examples or further details. The Kushanas and their journey in detail. Simplest explanation.
1. Who were the Yuezhi?
The Yuezhi were an ancient group of people living in Central Asia. They lived peacefully in their homeland until they were attacked by another tribe. 2. What happened to the Yuezhi? A. Yuezhi were attacked by the Xiongnu. A powerful tribe called the Xiongnu attacked the Yuezhi. The Yuezhi lost the battle and were forced to leave their homeland.
B.
Yuezhi started moving west. To escape, they began traveling westward, looking for a new place to live. C. Yuezhi split into 2 groups. During their journey, the Yuezhi divided into 2 groups. 1. Little Yuezhi. This smaller group moved south and settled in North Tibet. 2. Great Yuezhi. This larger group kept traveling westward in search of land.
3. The journey of the Great Yuezhi.
A. Displaced the Shakas. While traveling west, the Great Yuezhi pushed out the Shakas, who were living near the Jaxartes River in present-day Central Asia. The Shakas had to move further south because of this. B. Attacked by the Wusun tribe. Before they could settle, the Great Yuezhi were attacked by another tribe called Wusun. The Wusun were helped by the Xiongnu, the same tribe that had attacked the Yuezhi earlier. C. Forced to move again. The Great Yuezhi had to leave the Jaxartes area and move even further west. D. Final settlement in Afghanistan. After travelling a long way, the Great Yuezhi finally found land in the Oxus Valley, modern-day Afghanistan. Here, they settled down and built a new home. 4. How did the Yuezhi become the Kushanas? The Great Yuezhi who settled in Afghanistan eventually became the Kushanas. The Kushanas grew strong and became rulers of a large empire in India, Central Asia and Afghanistan. Understanding this through an example. Imagine a group of families living in a village. 1. A strong gang attacks them and takes over their land. 2. The families pack up and start walking to find a new place to live. 3. Along the way, they find another group living in a nice area. They push that group out to take the land. 4. But soon, another stronger gang attacks them, so they have to leave again. After a long journey, they finally find a quiet place where they can settle and build homes. This is what happened to the Yuezhi. 5. Why is this important? The journey of the Yuezhi shows how wars and invasions forced ancient people to move. It also explains how the Kushanas, who became powerful rulers in India, started their journey from Central Asia. These migrations changed the history of Central and South Asia. Key points to remember. 1. Yuezhi were an ancient tribe from Central Asia. 2. They were attacked by the Xiongnu and forced to leave their homeland. 3. They split into 2 groups. Little Yuezhi settled in North Tibet. Great Yuezhi kept moving west. 4. The Great Yuezhi pushed out the Shakas from the Jaxartes River area, were attacked by the Wusun and forced to move again. 5. Finally, the great Yuezhi settled in Afghanistan and became the Kushanas, a powerful empire. Let me know if you'd like more details about the Kushanas or their empire. The Kushanas, detailed and simplified explanation. Who were the great Yuezhi? One Yuezhi were ancient tribes. They originally lived in Central Asia. They were pushed out of their homeland by another powerful group, the Xiongnu, like nomads fighting over land. 2. Yuezhi split into 2 groups. Little Yuezhi, a smaller group, moved south and settled in North Tibet. Great Yuezhi, the larger group, moved further west, eventually reaching the Oxus Valley in Afghanistan. Number 3. The great Yuezhi divided further. Once in the Oxus Valley, they split into 5 smaller regions, each ruled by a local chief. These regions are called principalities, which means small areas ruled by princes or chiefs. The Kuei-Shang Kushanas, a powerful group. Kuei-Shang Kushanas were one of the 5 groups. Among the 5 principalities, the Kuei-Shang, later known as Kushanas, became the strongest. But 2. Miaos or Eros, a ruler named Miaos, gained independence for the Kuei-Shang group. Around 50 BCE, he ruled an area north of the Oxus River. This was the beginning of their rise to power. Kujula Kadphises, the founder of the Kushana Empire. 1. Who was Kujula Kadphises? Kujula Kadphises was a strong and ambitious leader of the Kuei-Shang Kushanas. He lived in the 1st century CE. 2. Uniting the 5 principalities. Kujula united all the 5 great Yuezhi regions into one empire. This was like turning 5 small kingdoms into one large kingdom. 3. Expansion into India. During Kujula's time, the Kushanas crossed the Hindu Kush mountains and entered the Indian subcontinent. Coins from his reign have been found in areas south of the Hindu Kush, proving their presence in India. Vima Kadphises, the next great leader. 1. Who was Vima Kadphises? Vima Kadphises was the son of Kujula Kadphises. At first, he ruled alongside his father as a co-ruler. After Kujula's death, Vima ruled alone and expanded the empire further. 2. Vima's conquests defeated the Parthians, a group ruling parts of Afghanistan, captured the important city of Kandahar in modern Afghanistan, moved further east into India and took control of the Indus Valley, Mathura region, modern Uttar Pradesh, India. Religion in the Kushana Empire. 1. Kujula Kadphises. His coins have Buddhist symbols, showing he respected or followed Buddhism. 2. Vima Kadphises. His coins show images of Shiva. This suggests that Vima was a devotee of Hinduism. How the Kushana Empire was built, step by step. 1. Yuezhi tribes split 5 small regions, one of which was Kuei-Shang Kushanas. 2. Kuei-Shang's rise under Miaos, they gained independence and became powerful. 3. Kujula Kadphises unified all Yuezhi regions into one empire. 4. Expansion, crossed the Hindu Kush into India, captured important territories like Kandahar, Indus Valley and Mathura. 5. Religious diversity. The Kushanas supported both Buddhism and Hinduism. Examples to understand. 1. Think of a family. Imagine 5 siblings, each controlling a part of their family's land. One sibling, Kujula Kadphises, becomes the strongest, unites everyone, and builds a big house, empire, where everyone lives together. Crossing the Hindu Kush. The Hindu Kush mountains are like a big wall. Crossing it into India was like moving into a richer neighborhood with better resources. 3. Religious support. Supporting both Buddhism and Hinduism was like inviting everyone in the empire to feel included, no matter their beliefs. Now, why are the Kushanas important? 1. Trade and culture. The Kushanas connected India with Central Asia and Europe through the Silk Road. This brought wealth and new ideas to their empire. 2. Religion. The Kushanas supported both Buddhism and Hinduism, which spread these religions across Asia. 3. Coins and inscriptions. Their coins and writings give us clues about their history, culture, and religion. Let me know if you'd like more about the Kushanas. Kanishka, the greatest Kushana emperor. Let's dive even deeper into the story of Kanishka and his empire in the simplest, clearest way possible. Sure, who was Kanishka? 1. Kanishka was a king of the Kushana Empire. He ruled a large and powerful empire in ancient India and Central Asia. His rule started in 78 CE, which is a very important year in history. 2. What made his rule special? He expanded the empire to its largest size. His reign is remembered as the golden age of the Kushanas. The Shaka era, what is it? 1. Starting a new calendar. When Kanishka became king, a new system to count years was introduced. This system began in 78 CE and is now called the Shaka era. 2. Why is the Shaka era important? It is one of the calendars still used in India today. For example, festivals and government dates often use the Shaka calendar alongside the Gregorian calendar. 3. Confusion about the name. Historians aren't sure if Kanishka started it or if it was linked to another ruler, a king of the Shakas. Later, people forgot its origins and simply called it the Shaka era. Kanishka's empire. How big was it? 1. Where was his empire? Kanishka ruled over Afghanistan, northern India, Pakistan, and parts of Central Asia. 2. Expansion under Kanishka. He pushed his empire east into the Ganga Valley, modern-day Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. He expanded south into Malwa, central India. His influence even reached western and central India, where local rulers, Shaka Kshatrapas, accepted his authority. 3. Coins found far away. Kushana coins were discovered in Bengal and Orissa, eastern India. But this doesn't mean he ruled there directly. It shows how famous and influential the Kushana Empire was. How did Kanishka rule his large empire? 1. Using local rulers. Kanishka allowed local kings, like the Shaka Kshatrapas, to continue ruling their regions. These kings followed Kanishka's orders and acknowledged him as their overlord. 2. Trade and connections. Kanishka's empire was part of the Silk Road, a trade route connecting India, Central Asia, China, and Europe. This made his empire very rich and culturally diverse. Kanishka's role in religion. 1. Support for Buddhism. Kanishka was a great patron of Buddhism. He helped spread Buddhism to Central Asia and China. During his reign, many Buddhist texts were written and stupas, temples, were built. 2. Unity of cultures. His empire included people of many religions, such as Hindus, Buddhists, and Zoroastrians. Kanishka respected and supported all these religions. Kanishka's coins. 1. What do his coins tell us? Coins were like advertisements for the king. Kanishka's coins showed his image and symbols of different gods from India, Greece, and Iran. This shows that his empire connected different cultures. But 2. Influence far and wide. The discovery of Kushana coins in faraway places shows the reach of their trade and power. Examples to help you understand. 1. Kanishka as a teacher. Imagine Kanishka as the head teacher of a school. The local rulers, like the Shaka Kshatrapas, are like assistant teachers who manage their classrooms but still follow Kanishka's rules. 2. Kanishka's coins like modern branding. Think of coins as posters of a popular brand. Even if the brand isn't sold in some cities, people in those cities still recognize it. Similarly, Kanishka's coins traveled far, showing his influence. Why is Kanishka important in history? Golden age of the Kushanas. His reign was the peak of the Kushana Empire, with maximum power and cultural achievements. 2. Shaka era. The calendar starting from 78 CC is still used today. 3. Trade and cultural exchange. He connected India with Central Asia, China, and Europe, making his empire a hub of trade and culture. 4. Religious growth. Kanishka's support helped Buddhism spread far beyond India, making it a world religion. Let me know if you'd like to explore more about Kanishka or any part of this history. All right, let's go step by step in the simplest way to explain the information. The Kushana Empire and Kanishka's achievements. 1. Kanishka and his empire's expansion. Kanishka was one of the most famous kings of the Kushana Empire. His empire grew very large because of trade and military victories. It included parts of Afghanistan, Central Asia, India, and China. Why did Kanishka expand his empire? Kanishka wanted to control places that could bring wealth and power to his empire. Here's how he did it. 1. Diamond mines in Malwa, Malwa, a region in central India, had diamond mines. Diamonds were very valuable and brought great wealth. Controlling Malwa meant owning the diamonds, which made the empire richer. 2. Trade in the Indus Valley, Shentu. The Indus Valley region, also called Shentu, was important for trade. Many goods like silk, spices, and precious stones were traded here. By controlling this area, Kanishka could control trade routes and earn money. 3. Ports on the Makran coast. The Makran coast, modern-day Pakistan-Iran border, had major ports. These ports connected India to other countries like Rome, Persia, and Southeast Asia. Kanishka's control of these ports helped him build strong trade networks. How did trade help the Kushana Empire? 1. Wealth from trade. Trade brought a lot of money into the empire. The Kushanas used this wealth to build their army, cities, and monuments. 2. Cultural exchange. Through trade, the Kushanas also exchanged ideas, art, and religion with other countries. This is why you see Kushana coins and statues that combine Indian, Greek, and Central Asian styles. 3. Strong economy. The Kushana Empire became one of the richest empires of its time because it controlled important trade routes. The decline of the Kushana Empire. 1. Decline in trade. Historian B.N. Mukherjee believed that the Kushana Empire started to weaken when trade declined. Ports and trade routes that once brought wealth to the empire were no longer as important. Without trade, the empire lost its strength and power. 2. Loss of influence. As trade shifted to other regions, the Kushanas couldn't maintain control over their vast empire. How big was Kanishka's empire? Regions under Kanishka's rule. Most of Afghanistan, except a small area called Sistan, parts of China, eastern Xinjiang region, north of the Oxus River in Central Asia. India, including regions like the Ganga Valley, Malwa, and Indus Valley. 2. Why were these regions important? These regions were along major trade routes like the Silk Road, connecting India to Central Asia and China. Controlling these routes boosted trade and made the empire stronger. Kanishka's failed expedition to Central Asia. 1. What did Kanishka try to do? Kanishka wanted to expand his empire further into Central Asia. He went to war with China, hoping to gain more territory. 2. What happened? The Chinese general Chao defeated Kanishka's army. Kanishka had to pay tribute, a kind of tax, to the Chinese emperor Hot Ti. This was a big setback for the Kushana Empire. The role of trade in Kanishka's empire. 1. Trade made the empire strong. Think of trade as the backbone of the Kushana Empire. Like a business depends on customers, the empire depended on traders using its routes and ports. 2. Example of decline. Imagine you run a toll booth on a highway. If the highway becomes less important and fewer people use it, you'll earn less money. This is what happened to the Kushanas when trade routes shifted. Lessons from Kanishka's reign. 1. Trade is key to power. Controlling trade routes brought wealth and made the Kushana Empire strong. 2. Leadership matters. Kanishka's efforts to expand his empire made him one of history's greatest rulers. However, even great leaders like him could face defeats. Final points. Kanishka's empire grew because of wealth from trade and military conquests. Trade decline weakened the empire over time. Despite challenges, Kanishka is remembered as a great ruler who connected India to the rest of the ancient world. Let me know if you'd like more details or examples. Let's explain this even more clearly, step by step, so you fully understand every part. I'll break it down into simple pieces with examples and more details to make it crystal clear. Who was Kanishka? Kanishka was a great king of the Kushana Empire who ruled a large area in Central Asia and India. He is famous for being a big supporter of Buddhism and for respecting many religions. Kanishka's contributions to Buddhism. 1. Built a stupa for Buddha's relics. A stupa is like a big dome-shaped monument made to honor Buddha. Kanishka built a stupa in Purushapura, modern-day Peshawar, Pakistan. Inside the stupa, he kept relics of like his ashes or important belongings. This stupa became a holy place where monks and followers came to pray and learn about Buddhism. Example, think of it like a special treasure chest that holds things from a great teacher. This chest became the center of learning and faith for people who loved Buddha. 2. Organized a Buddhist meeting, conclave. Kanishka gathered Buddhist monks and scholars in a big meeting to discuss Buddhist teachings. This conclave may have happened in Kashmir, Gandhara, or Jalandhara, we're not sure exactly where. The monks talked about important Buddhist ideas and may have written them down to share with others. Example, imagine all the top teachers in a school coming together to decide how to teach everyone better. That's what this conclave was like. 3. Supported famous Buddhist scholars. Kanishka gave his support to important scholars like Ashvaghosha, a poet and thinker who wrote about Buddhism in a way that everyone could understand. Vasumitra, a Buddhist monk who helped spread the religion and its teachings. 4. Sent Buddhist missionaries. Kanishka sent teachers and missionaries, people who spread religion, to faraway places like Kashgar in Central Asia, Yunnan in China, where Buddhism became very popular thanks to these efforts. Example, think of missionaries as teachers who travel to other cities and countries to explain their ideas. Kanishka's missionaries helped spread Buddhism across Asia. Kanishka and other religions. 1. Religious tolerance, respect for all faiths. Kanishka did not follow just one religion. He was eclectic, meaning he respected and took ideas from many different religions. He believed in allowing everyone to worship their own gods and live peacefully. 2. Coins with many gods. Kanishka's coins had symbols of gods from many religions. For example, Buddha, Buddhism, Shiva, Hinduism, Atash, a Persian fire god, Mithra, a Persian sun god, Helios, a Greek sun god, Selene, a Greek moon goddess. Why did he do this? His empire was very big and people followed different religions. By showing all these gods, Kanishka wanted to show respect to everyone's beliefs, unite his people no matter what they worshipped. Example, it's like a school where students speak many languages. The teacher respects all languages to make everyone feel included. Kanishka's religious policy. 1. Personal beliefs. Kanishka might have personally believed in a mix of different religions and gods. He didn't force anyone to follow one religion. 2. Policy as a king. Kanishka used religion to connect with his people. He included gods from different cultures to keep his empire peaceful and united. Why was Kanishka's approach important? 1. Unifying his empire. Kanishka's empire was very big and had people from India, Central Asia, and West Asia. These regions followed different religions, so respecting all of them kept the empire peaceful. 2. Encouraging trade and ideas. By respecting Greek, Persian, and Indian gods, he made it easier for people from different cultures to trade and share knowledge. His empire became a center of art, trade, and learning. Example, think of a market where people from different countries come to sell goods. If everyone feels respected, they're more likely to work together and trade peacefully. Summary of Kanishka's contributions. 1. To Buddhism, built a stupa for Buddha's relics, held a Buddhist conclave to discuss teachings, supported famous Buddhist scholars, spread Buddhism to other countries like China. 2. To religious tolerance, respected all religions and included their gods on his coins, created an environment where people could follow their own beliefs. 3. To his kept the empire united by respecting everyone's culture and religion, encouraged trade and the exchange of ideas between different regions. Let me know if you'd like even more details or examples of it. Let's break this down step by step in the simplest way possible so you can easily understand everything about the Kushana Empire and its centers of power. Where did the Kushana Empire start? The Kushana Empire began as a small kingdom in Central Asia. Over time it grew bigger and expanded into Afghanistan and northwestern India. Example, Imagine a small group of people starting in one area and slowly taking over neighboring lands to create a large country. What was the center of the Kushana Empire? The main center of the empire was Bactria. Bactria was located in present-day Afghanistan and Uzbekistan. We know Bactria was important because Kanishka's coins and inscriptions were written in the Bactrian language. Example: think of Bactria as the heart of the empire, where the most important decisions were made, and the language spoken there was used everywhere. What was the Kushana capital? According to an ancient Chinese text called the Hohun Shu, the Kushana capital was at a place called Lanshi. Lanshi was in eastern Bactria. Example: just like a modern country has a capital city where the government works, Lanshi was where the Kushana rulers governed the empire. Important cities in India. In India, the Kushanas ruled from two major cities. One, Purushapura, modern-day Peshawar, Pakistan. This was an important city for administration and religion. Kanishka built a great stupa here, making it a center for Buddhism. 2. Mathura in modern-day Uttar Pradesh, India. Mathura was another major city. It was important for art, trade, and culture. Example: think of these cities as big hubs for the empire. Purushapura was like a spiritual capital, and Mathura was a cultural and economic center. How do we know about the Kushanas? Archaeologists have found evidence of the Kushana Empire by digging up old sites. These places include 1. India. Many ancient cities in North India have been excavated. These digs show us how people lived, worked, and worshipped during the Kushana period. 2. Central Asia. Sites like Karatepe and Dalverzin Tepe show how the Kushanas built cities and temples. 3. Afghanistan. At Surt Kotal, archaeologists found ruins of a temple and inscriptions. This gives us clues about the Kushana kings and their religion. Example: imagine finding buried treasure like coins, buildings, and old writings. These help us understand how the Kushanas lived and ruled. Why was the Kushana Empire important? 1. Big and powerful. The empire connected Central Asia and India, creating a huge region for trade and culture. 2. Cultural mixing. The Kushanas blended Indian, Central Asian, Greek, and Persian ideas. This led to the growth of unique arts and religion. 3. Spread of Buddhism. Under rulers like Kanishka, the Kushanas helped spread Buddhism far and wide, including to China. Summary 1. The Kushana Empire started in Central Asia and grew into Afghanistan and northwestern India. 2. The main center of the empire was Bactria, and the capital was Lanshi in eastern Bactria. 3. In India, the important cities were Purushapura, a religious center, Mathura, cultural and economic hub. 4. Archaeologists have learned about the Kushanas from sites in India, Central Asia, and Afghanistan. 5. The Kushanas created a huge, diverse empire that was important for trade, culture, and the spread of Buddhism. Let me know if you'd like me to explain anything more or give examples. Alright, let me explain this like a story using the simplest words possible. I'll break it down step by step and make it as clear as sunlight. What is the title Devaputra? The Kushana kings called themselves Devaputra. This means son of God. Why did they do this? They wanted people to see them as special and holy, almost like gods. It made their position as king look very powerful and important. Did other kings do this? Yes, this idea of calling kings divine, godlike, wasn't new. Examples: in ancient Egypt, kings were called pharaohs and were seen as gods on earth. In ancient Rome, emperors were sometimes worshipped as gods. The Kushanas were doing something similar. The shrine at Mat. Mat is a place near Mathura in India. There is a shrine, a sacred building there. Some think this shrine was used to worship the Kushana kings. Many people thought the kings were so important that they deserved temples like gods, but we're not 100% sure about this. How was the Kushana Empire organized? The Kushana Empire was like a big kingdom, and it had different levels of control. Let's imagine it as layers of a cake. 1. Direct control by the king. Directly by the Kushana kings. The king made the decisions and his officials carried them out. 2. Subordinate rulers, layer. Some areas were ruled by subordinate rulers. These rulers had titles like Kshatrapa, regional governor, Mahaksha, senior governor. They followed the Kushana king their own regions. 3. Tributary states, bottom layer. In some places, the local rulers did not work directly for the Kushanas. They just acknowledged the Kushana king as their boss. These rulers paid tribute, gifts like gold, goods, or money, to the Kushana king. Were some rulers more independent? Yes. Some rulers, like Chashtana, a Kshatrapa, accepted the Kushana king as their boss, but mostly ruled independently. Think of it like this. You're the principal of a school, the Kushana king. Some teacher subordinate rulers follow your rules completely. Other teachers, like Chashtana, say, okay, you're the boss, but I'll run my classroom my way. An example to make it simple. Imagine you have a big family business. 1. You, the king, manage the main store yourself. 2. Your brothers, Kshatrapas, manage some smaller stores for you. They follow your rules, but also make small decisions themselves. 3. Some cousins, tributary rulers, don't work for you directly. They run their own stores, part of their profit, because This is exactly how the Kushana Empire worked. Why was this system important? The empire was too big for one person to manage alone. By giving control to subordinate rulers, the Kushana king could focus on important issues. It also made local rulers feel powerful, so they stayed loyal to the king. Why do we remember the Kushanas? 1. Powerful kings. They ruled one of the biggest empires in their time. 2. Cultural impact. They helped spread ideas, religions like Buddhism and art. 3. Coins and inscriptions. Their coins and writings still tell us stories about them. 4. Unique titles. They called themselves Devaputra, showing how they wanted to be seen as godlike.
Summary in simple words.
The Kushana kings called themselves Devaputra to show they were very important, like gods. They ruled their empire in layers. Some areas were ruled directly by the king. Others were controlled by Kshatrapas and Mahakshatrapas. Some local rulers just paid tribute but stayed independent. They might have been worshipped in shrines, but we're not sure. Their empire was big and famous for connect cultures, just like a bridge. Fun fact, the Kushanas were one of the first rulers to put their pictures on coins, with their names written on them. It's like having your face on a currency note today. Did you like this explanation? Let me know if I can make it even better. Alright, let's dive into the story of the Rabatak inscription. I'll make it as simple and clear as possible, breaking it down step by step. Let's start. What is the Rabatak inscription? Imagine someone writing something important on a stone slab, a flat piece of stone. This slab was found in 1993 on a hill called Kafir's Castle in Rabatak, which is in present-day Afghanistan. It's called the Rabatak inscription because it was found in Rabatak. How was it discovered? 1. Some ruins of an old temple and a lion sculpture were found on the hill. 2. Along with these, there was a stone slab with 23 lines of writing. 3. The writing was in the Bactrian language, an ancient language, but used Greek letters. 4. The governor of the area, Syed Jafar, asked Tim Porter, a British man, to take pictures of it. 5. Tim Porter sent one of these pictures to the British Museum for experts to study. Why is this inscription important? It tells us about Kanishka, a famous king of the Kushana dynasty. It gives us valuable information about his reign, his beliefs, and his achievements. What does the inscription say? The inscription describes Kanishka with powerful and impressive titles like the Great Deliverer, a savior or helper, righteous and just, fair and good, autocrat, he ruled with full power, the god, he was considered divine, one who is worthy of worship, people could pray to him like a god. It says Kanishka was chosen as king by Nana, a goddess from West Asia, and other gods. What else do we learn? 1. Kanishka's divine image. Kanishka called himself son of the gods and king of kings. These titles made him look very powerful and holy in the eyes of his people. 2. Change in language. Before Kanishka, the Greek language Ionian was used in the region. Kanishka replaced it with Bactrian, a local language that was considered more noble and connected to his culture. Let's imagine this with an example. Think of a king today saying, "I'm not just a king, I'm also blessed by God, chosen to rule and protect my people." Then imagine this king saying, "Instead of using a foreign language like Greek, I want to use our own language to show our pride and culture." Why is this inscription a big deal? 1, it's old and rare. It's like a history book written thousands of years ago. Such inscriptions help us understand the past. 2, it connects cultures. The writing uses Greek letters, but talks about Bactrian culture and gods. It shows how different cultures mixed during Kanishka's reign. 3, it proves Kanishka's power. The titles on the stone show how much people respected or feared him. He was not just a ruler, he was seen as a godlike figure. Chat more cool facts about Kanishka. He was one of the greatest kings of the Kushana dynasty. He is famous for supporting Buddhism and helping it spread to other countries like China. He built a lot of temples and monuments, some of which still exist. Summary in super simple words. 1. The Rabatak inscription is an ancient writing found in Afghanistan in 1993. 2. It talks about Kanishka, a powerful king of the Kushana dynasty. 3. Kanishka called himself things like son of the gods and king of kings to show his greatness. 4. He changed the main language from Greek to Bactrian, which was more connected to his culture. 5. This inscription is important because it gives us clues about his life, his beliefs, and the time he lived in. Do you feel like a history expert now? Let me know if you want me to explain.